And good afternoon, traders, and welcome to this week's market analysis class, Monday the 6th of November. Before we do get started, as always, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay, I know that I've been away for a little bit, first class back, so let's get back stuck into it. Just a little recap on the major events of last week and where the market is at the moment in terms of sentiment and what's feeling. The main drivers, the US dollar. Last week, of course, we did have non-farm payrolls on Friday, but in the week leading into that, there was news about tax cuts that are being pushed forward right now, that they would eventually revert back to a 35% tax rate, making them null and void. So effectively, I know it is over time, but effectively US dollar, the market lost interest or lost momentum in that and did pull back. Then on Friday we had non-farm payrolls which delivered mixed news. Yes, they produced 261,000 new jobs. The forecast was higher than that, and all in all, basically ended the week fairly neutral. At the moment, with the main talking points with the US was we also had FOMC. I think that was last week from memory. I'm just still a bit mixed up on my dates, but the bottom line from that was that nothing happened, but they did indicate that they do see one further interest rate rise this year. Now, we must remember that in the last 2 years in a row, they did raise interest rates on the December month. So they've set the tone again for possibly another raise come December. So I guess the market will start to factor all these things now, and it will start to set the pace towards that as we approach the holiday season later in December. So there you have it from the US. GBP, we had the first interest rate rise in a long time. Interest rates moved from 0.25 to 0.5%. But the Bank of England also delivered news that further movements would be very gradual over the next 3 or so years. So effectively the market was clearly expecting more than that, and it put a damper on it. GBP pulled back quite hard. It has held its ground now with the cable trading in that above that 130 level. So let's see what will happen there. Locally from Australia, a string of not so good data has pulled the Aussie dollar back. I think we're trading in the 76 region somewhere. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Of course, this week we do have interest rates decisions and RBA statements coming up, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So really the direction will be determined possibly this week, and of course our own Aussie dollar against the US dollar depends a lot on what the US dollar will do. So let's have a look what the major highlights for the week, what we should look out for. As I just mentioned, locally Aussie dollar first Tuesday of the month, which is tomorrow. It is also Melbourne Cup Day, so those in Victoria who are lucky enough to get a public holiday, just remember 2:30 is the time. We do have the announcement. It could affect our dollar significantly, and we do have a policy statement later in the week on Friday. Kiwi dollar, we have inflation numbers which should have already gone by, and also their rate statement and press conference on Thursday for their rates decision from their central bank. Okay, so that's Kiwi dollar. US, we have crude oil inventories, unemployment claims later in the week, and Miss Yellen will be speaking on Wednesday morning, our time, so look out for those. And I guess this week there is not a whole deal of data like there was last week, and based on the highlights that I've just presented to you, the currency that's probably going to be the most susceptible to straight data alone will be the Kiwi dollar. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And guys, as always, the times that I'm showing you are in my local time, which is Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Okay, so there we have it. Let's bring our charts forward. If anybody has any questions or comments that they would like to make at any time, please feel free to do so. Take advantage of the time that I allocate towards you, and I will do my best to assist you. Alright, where's my charts? Here they are. Let's kick it off. Aussie dollar. Now, before I left you, I did point out, or I'm not sure if it was a daily call or something, but I did point out this trade that we had a level where the market had been acting as resistance, and then it's acted as support at this region there. So hopefully some of you took advantage of that. I don't remember specifically. We have broken down through it. So what am I looking for now? Anything in this area there towards this way would be a strong kind of signal. One, it appears that there is a change in trend. Okay, we can see it there. So in this area here, we are looking for a trade. There is one there right now. Can anybody spot it? It is more aggressive than what we would normally be trading. But if I zoom in, this is actually a body engulfing candle setup. Okay, so we already have the fractal up there. So if there was any takers on this one, is there anybody in the room right now that trades the body engulfing? It would be okay to basically just jump in straight away at that level right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this one. I'm going to take this one at half normal rate. Only because I know that there's a lot of you that do not trade the body engulfing candle. So to do this, I'm going to use my mini terminal to make life easier for me. And where is my mini terminal? There it is. Just drag it on. Just give it a moment to load in. And so what I'll do on this one, let me just see, work out roughly. So the stop has to be, I'm working it out, I'm going to 76 to the peak from current level. So I'm going to make it about 82 pips. I'm going to make my stop. Oops, wrong button. Okay, so I'm going to, just in case anyone is not aware, I am a seller. Okay, so the reason for it, just to be specific, we've got a trend appearing like this, and this is what I am trying to do with this particular trade. Okay, I do like the fact that we broke that previous level and we've come up to it again, and hopefully this will kick on in that direction. That's the theory. That is the probability of my trade, so I'm going to attempt that. So I'm going to be a seller. My stop has to be what do we say, 82. Let's make it 82. Now the risk level that I'm going to take on this one is let's go just with 125. Okay, and my target level, let's just make it 160, and I'll adjust it as I go. Alright, so here we go. We're ready. Place the order. Let me see. So it's sized the trade for me at 0.11, and it is. We're in the market already. Done. Let me see what that, zoom out and see what that target is. Okay, so this is a 2-to-1 target. So what I'll do later is I may add something in at the 1-to-1 level, even if I may move my stop to that level or close half the trade, break even. But this is my 1-to-1 point, and this is the point that I talk about a lot in the courses that I run, where you need to basically make a decision to what your action point is or what your action is at the level of 1 to 1. Okay, even if your action is 0, just document it that you at that point you do nothing. At least you've thought about it. All right. Okay, so there you have it. Aussie dollar we just shorted. Let's move on. Euro-USD. Okay, did anybody see the daily call this morning? This one looks like this. There is a trade right here, right now. And we had a head and shoulder pattern, very, very symmetrical. We had a break, and there's a really nice candle. It's that one there, which broke it down. So in theory, a couple of ways you can trade this. You could have traded it right there, straight away, start at your trade. Or right there, start at your trade. And the third method is you can wait for it to come back, test the level, and trade it then. Now, I've just seen it this morning because I've been away. It was actually good not to look at any charts for 2 weeks. Well, I think I looked one day. My eyes got a really, really good rest. And, oops. Today on my return, there it is. What type of candle setup is that, guys? Can I just see who's awake, who's not? Thank you, Karen. It's an engulfing. This is a proper engulfing. It's body engulfing and completely engulfing. So the way you would trade this one, if you're interested, is basically right now we can enter. We're pretty much getting the same price that we would have first thing this morning. My stop's going to go above there somewhere, and we're going to aim for somewhere down here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. This one, I guess, has... I guess in terms of probability, this one probably has higher probability than the Aussie dollar one, mainly because we've just broken that head and shoulder pattern. Head and shoulder patterns they don't happen too many times, so they do have quite a good probability. So this one's double reason, head and shoulders, and also I guess you could say we've changed of trend, trending downwards. So I'll go ahead and bring my mini terminal on this one. And I'll just repeat exactly what I did before. This time my stop's going to be around about 90 pips. So I'm a seller. And this time I'm going to just take a full risk trade, 250. I'm risking 90 pips, and I'll put my target at 2 to 1, which is 180. And I'm going to place it. Here we go. And there it is. Zoom out. I just want to see the trade. Very happy with that. Don't get put off by the fact that we're chasing 180 pips. Just look at the chart, okay? Look at the chart and see if it feels right. Look how much this has moved in one direction, okay? This is all we got to get to is to that level, and our trade's played out. All right. And of course, you also got the 1-to-1 point if you not feeling super confident and you want to take other actions. So let me just double check that we've done the correct thing. This time my trade size is 0.21. It's a bigger trade. I've taken twice the risk, and you can see that I'm short there. If some of you are a bit concerned about taking both these trades, that they're not 100% correlating, but they are slightly correlated, well then you can do as I did. I took half the risk on the first trade, knowing that already in mind. I don't actually mind the body engulfing too much. Okay, so there you have it. All right, so first two charts, and we're 2 trades in. Let's move along. Let's have a look at the pound USD. Okay, this line has been drawn on my chart for a while. And look, we are coming close to it again, so I'm actually pretty keen to see what I would like. At the current level, I think I'm a bit too far, so what I would like is I'd like it to just pop down a little bit more, and right there I will be looking for some kind of reversal pattern that will allow me to become a buyer on this one. Okay, so add it to your hot charts list. It is not ready yet, but it's the only thing that I would consider right now, because purely this line looks very, very good. We've got 1, 2, 3 solid touches. So if we get here, I'm definitely interested in taking such a trade. Okay, now remember, I don't trade off the level alone. I still wait for price action reversal patterns to confirm that that there is a higher chance that it will in fact turn around. Okay, nothing is guaranteed, as you know, so that's why I just wait for a little bit of extra probability. That just makes me feel a little bit nicer about the trade. Alright, there you have it. Let's have a look at the US yen. Self-explanatory, this one. Look at the levels. 1, 2, 3. Let me zoom in. I am looking for something to justify a sell. And when I look, just what I'm checking is if have we already had such a signal? And the answer is no, which makes me even more happy about it. So what would be nice if today's candle finished like this, tomorrow's candle was in there somewhere, and then the next candle trade an inside candle with a fractal off that. That's what I would like. That is the best scenario that I can think of. So basically means we need to wait for today's candle to complete, and you need to wait for tomorrow's to complete to see how it shapes up. Alternatively, today's candle, we've already got a higher there. Today's candle could look something like this and be a complete body engulfing, just a complete engulfing candle, and then tomorrow you could start your trade at the open. Alright, so there's two options. If today's candle finishes as a bearish engulfing candle, well then tomorrow morning we can take the trade straight away. If that does not happen, then we've got to wait one more day to see if we get an inside candle set up, since we've already got the high from this candle here. Alright, does that make sense for everybody? Are we clear on sort of what I'm talking about? Is there anybody that doesn't understand? I'm just looking in the room just to see if there are any new names, people that I don't recognize that may be a little bit confused. Okay, no one's saying anything, so I'm assuming that we all understand what is happening. Okay, so US yen pretty easy. We could get bearish engulfing tomorrow and ready to go, or we've got to wait 2 days to see if we get the setup. Let's move it along. Let's have a look at the euro yen. Okay, I saw this. Let me just zoom out a little bit longer, just a bit more. Okay, I saw this this morning. If I zoom in a little bit, it just looks a little bit nicer. It's a nice channel. We've got one touch at the top, 2 touches at the top, 1 at the bottom, 2 at the bottom. So basically means that we are ready to go. So we can start to look for our trades. If you really wanted to, let me see what it looks like on a 4-hour chart. On a 4-hour chart it works as well. So sometimes if you have a really nice set of lines, you can change a time division to see if you've got an entry on a smaller time division compared to a higher time. But in this case it doesn't really matter. It doesn't help us for that. So what we need to do is the following. Either we could come back straight away and see if we get an opportunity that way. However, if it does come back straight away, it's probably higher likely that it will break through. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be over here the next time that we possibly get a chance to actually take a trade on it, which is technically the first time that we could have taken this type of trade, because until you have two touches on each side, you can't really confirm that it is a channel. Alright, so this is normal, so don't feel like you're missing out, but definitely draw these lines on your chart and just keep a lookout on it so that you don't miss it out. Okay, so US yen, we've just spotted a new channel. Let's see how it plays out. Kiwi dollar. Oh, this level down here held nicely. Let me just zoom out a bit more. I just want to see more chart. Okay, so when I mark out this level there, let me zoom in again now. So a double bottom played out. Was there an entry? No, not really. There wasn't really any entries there. So after such a pattern, what would I be looking for now? Give me one moment. Okay, if the Kiwi dollar was going to continue to fall, the most common way that it would happen, generally it would pull back a little bit more, give me something there, come back to it. It may test it one more time and then break through. It's that bouncy ball type effect. This is the pattern. I'm not saying it's going to happen this way, but this is the most common way that that it happens. It's probably the highest probability. Okay, so having said that, we don't have any kind of reversal pattern right there right now. So what we need to wait for is possibly this will kick on a little bit more, and then look for wait for a candle that with the fractal, and then look for the price action reversal around that fractal candle to give you the journey back down in this direction. Okay, now so that's and hopefully if such a setup comes up, let's say the entry was in this region, or let's make it a bit worse, let's say the entry was around about there in this direction and your stop was about there, that should still give you enough room to reach your 2 to 1 level based on those lines. Okay, if you don't have enough room for your 2 to 1, or if your 2 to 1 is below this support level, well then you may have to just adjust your trade a little bit, or definitely maybe consider moving your stop to break even or something like that when you get to the 1 to 1 as you try and punch through that support level. Is that clear for everybody? Because sometimes when we can't just simply just straight out place 2 to 1 target, 3 to 1 target just for no reason. We've got to look at the technicals that are the same technicals that are helping us make our entry decisions, should also assist us in where to get out on the profit side as well, just as much as on the negative side. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So if you don't quite have the 2 to 1, you may need to just adjust a little bit on that, or at least move your stop after it's reached a certain level to protect against any bounce movement off that support level. Okay, so there you have it. That's Kiwi dollar, and again we said Kiwi dollar was the volatile of this one. It's got the most news that will impact its movement. US CAD. Geez, the CAD moves nice and smooth, doesn't it? These are really nice moves. I can see a trade brewing here. I'm hoping that tomorrow we have an inside candle setup of these two candles. Let me zoom in a bit more so you can all see it. Now this high is higher than that high. Okay, so we've broken that high. So this to me says technically, you know, we could say that from this point where the moving averages are crossing, we are in uptrend. But all on top of that, the new high that was made is higher than a previous significant high. Okay, so now pretty much I'm happy to trade trend in the upward direction, and based on trend, if we do this and we do this, and tomorrow if we pull back and I get an inside candle set up over here, then I'm happy to trade the inside candle break in the upward direction. Now I need to wait for today's candle to complete to confirm if in fact this will be an inside candle setup, and if it is, tomorrow morning I can place my pending orders to trade the break in the upward direction. Any questions on that one, guys? No, we're all good? Excellent. Let's have a look at gold. Okay, gold. Okay. This chart is not talking to me. I get the feeling that we are compressing and building pressure in here, and we could do this, but I'm not willing to trade it. So I'm just drawing the line just to help me see it a little bit better. Other than that, there's really nothing I can do on this particular chart, so I'm just going to leave this chart alone for this week, but I'll leave that line in there just to help me with my train of thought. Next time I come and look at this chart, I should very quickly be able to see where I was in the thinking behind it. Let's have a look at oil. Let me just quickly go to a weekly chart. This feels very exponential. It feels like this is just like, whoa, it's just gone up exponentially, and I just want to see why. Let me just go to a weekly chart. Aha, I see why. Okay, so essentially, if I'm on a weekly chart, but I can see that there was a level here, okay, and then basically we've just broken that level, so there would have been a lot of stops in here, and as the market pushed through, it hit those stops, trickled through, and that's why it's just moved up exponentially. So if I was a contrarian type trader, like I'd take a cheeky short, but I don't really have a reason for it, so I'm not saying that. So really, the only trade that I can possibly look for here is I will need to wait for it to come back down, look for my setup, and then continue with the journey. On the plus side is it has cleared a lot of room up top, so if it does pull back and give us a setup, it's a good percentage probability trade for continuation of trend. And clearly it is in trend now. You can see that we've pulled up, and hopefully it pulls back and then continues on. That would be the plan on that one. Okay, alright, so I've covered all the majors. Let me have a quick look at the Aussie ASX, sorry, should I say. If anybody has anything that they want me to have a look at, please type it in. If you do have any questions, type them in. Let me see if I can help. ASX 200. Aha, we finally came out of that. Remember, we were watching all this mess over here, and see, look, when we came out of it quite hard. It's just a lot of build up, very normal type chart. So what's happening is very messy. Okay, ASX, really just leave it alone. There's nothing really there. Alright, I'll open up to you guys if there's anything you want me to have a look at. I've still got some time. If any questions that you have, I'm more than happy to take a moment to explain. Just please type them in, and I'll see if I can help you. Okay, first question: why would WT crude and not Brent as much as a preferred choice? The Brent, I think traditionally most traders just trade WTI, which is the crude. It's a much of a muchness. If there's any oil-based news or things like that, we could look at both charts and they will be very, very correlated. Let me just do that for the exercise. So it's really just up to you. Really, what's going to determine your reason to take it or not is the first one that you have a little bit of success with is the one that you're going to choose. As simple as that. But if you have a look at the chart, this is Brent that you're looking at. Just ignore any other lines that are on that. And this is crude. Okay, you look at them. I'll change them over again. They're virtually the same, so there's no major drama. Choose whichever one you like. The only thing is it's a pricing difference, but it's much of a muchness. Okay, I'm just used to all pro traders generally go with the WTI. It's what I've always done. That's why I talk about WTI and not Brent. Okay, hopefully that answers that question. I'll just give you guys some time while you type in any questions that you have before I close up and wrap up for the day. So one thing that I have noticed on my return to looking at charts, there's a lot of charts that are setting up really, really nicely right now. So there could be a lot of trade opportunities that come at us quite quickly. As you saw today, we have taken 2 trades, and there's a potential 2 more that are right there or thereabouts ready for triggering. Could I spot one for tomorrow? Look, the one that when I look for tomorrow's, what I do is I do that in the morning for the daily call, so I need to see the development of the candles a little bit more. But let me just recap. I'm hoping the US yen could set up tonight. Okay, so let's just see what happens on that one. The other one was, no, the US yen is the most likely. It's there or thereabouts. Okay, so possibly that one. Oh, could someone for the Melbourne Cup? Can I pick a winner for the Melbourne Cup? I haven't actually looked at the form yet. I usually do it in the morning when I have my morning cup. Maybe I'll include it in the daily call for tomorrow. How's that? I'll ring one of my horse friends and see what the tip is there, and I'll put it in for a little bit of fun. Done. Alright, let me recap what we've done just for anybody that came in a little bit later. Aussie US dollar, we've taken a short on a body engulfing trade, and it's basically trend continuation. The trend appears to be on the downside. You can see my entry, there's the green, there's my stop, that's my 2-to-1 target, and of course my 1-to-1 target I will sort out once I finish the class. Euro-USD, same thing, we've taken a short there, break of head and shoulders, come back to the level and test it out, and it's produced a bearish engulfing candle, so we've entered the trade on the green. You can see there's my stop, there's my 2-to-1 target. GBP USD, we are waiting to see if we can approach this support line before we consider a trade. US yen, we are at a triple top, so we're looking for a reversal pattern to show itself, and then we can go ahead on that one. Euro yen, we've spotted a new channel. We need to wait till we hit one of the edges. Kiwi dollar, double bottom, and we feel that it's going to bounce away and then possibly into this region here somewhere before we get a reversal price action pattern to come back and test the support one more time. US CAD, the US CAD is the one that could be tomorrow. We're looking, if we get an inside candle tomorrow, we are ready to go. Okay, that's the one that I was looking for before when I was just talking. Gold, we said we stay away. WTI, we're staying away. Alright guys, well look, that pretty much wraps up today's session. I'm back, so if you send in your questions, I will be responding as best as I can. As always, please trade sensibly, manage your stops. If you do have any questions, send them in. More than happy to help you. Hope you all have a great day, trading day today. Enjoy your public holiday for anybody in Melbourne tomorrow. Enjoy the big race. I will produce a daily call tomorrow morning, even though, and we'll see if we can put a little bit of trivia into it based on the Melbourne Cup. Have a great afternoon. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.